Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Facebook Live with Leanne. Took me a little bit to get my camera situated today for some reason. So welcome, everybody. Let me know who's here, where you're from, how's your day going. Say hello. So here is the prize from last week's video. These are the cards I made last week. They're all fun fold cards. We got an easel. We got kind of a side flat card, and then we have this one. Okay, so these were made with the watercolor shape stamp set, and yeah, we made those last week. Measurements and everything are on the video last week. If you're wondering where to find all my videos, I almost always load them to YouTube, so just search Leanne Greff under YouTube and you'll see all my videos. Most of them include measurements. And yeah, don't forget to follow my YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, make sure you follow me so you get notified when I'm live if you like to watch live. So, all right, so the winner of the cards from last week, drum roll, is Melinda Blevins. So congratulations, Melinda. Thank you so much for watching and commenting on last week's video. Good morning, everybody. Hi, thanks for watching. Well, once again, I have just one comment showing every time someone comments, so I have to scroll down every time. I don't know what it is. I even chatted with Facebook itself and said, okay, why am I only seeing one comment at a time where I used to see, you know, like 5? And so it's kind of frustrating that I don't get everybody's comments on my screen all the time. So I apologize. I will answer any questions at the end of the video, or just keep posting your question and maybe I will see it. So I'll do my best. It's really kind of a challenge for somebody who's like a focuser. I focus on one thing at a time, and it's a challenge for me to stamp and think and talk and watch the screen. If you can imagine, there's quite a bit going on. Okay, so the prize for this next week is 2 embellishments. So I'm going to draw 2 names. So comment and or share, and you'll be in the prize drawing for the pastel pearls or the in color square gems. And yeah, these are brand new from the catalog. These are a carryover from the spring catalog. So good luck, comment. All right, so Stampin' Up! Announced something today, that there is free shipping on all orders over $50 this week, Thursday only. So if you have some things you want, working on your wish list, some favorites, stock up on your white cardstock or some blends markers, free shipping is the way to go, because you'll save at least $5 on a $50 order and or more. Now I'm adding my own special to this. So of course the free shipping. Then I'm doing 5 free card kits for any orders over $35. And I'm going to go through these really fast. I made 10 cards, and everybody who orders from now through the end of June will get the PDF, the 10 card PDF that I'm going to show you now. Plus you'll get an assortment of 5 of these card kits free. All you need to do, hey Melinda, did you see? You won the prize from last week. I just saw that you're on. So congratulations. I'll send you some cards. I do need your mailing address though. Please message me your mailing address. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. Okay, so these 10 cards are something I whipped up last night. I did actually make 10 cards in an evening. That is like a record for me, but I used swaps and other card ideas, and I just changed it up for the different stamp sets, different colors, different designer paper. So these are going to be, you'll receive when you place an order with me, 5 free cards among these 10. So I did use some retiring paper, and some of these are fun folds. So some of them use new dies and stamps. I did use the Biggest Wish stamp set and the Ice Cream Corner stamp set. So those are the 10 cards, but you'll get a PDF for all of the measurements and the tutorial on these cards. So yep, that is my special for the end of June. And don't forget that everybody who places an order over $50 gets a flower. This is my new frequent shopper tracking form. And for every $50 you get a flower, once you have 10 flowers, you get a $50 shopping spree from me. So that's my loyalty program for those people who order from me online, my in-person, or are not in a club. My card clubs do get their own perks. They get kind of something very similar to this. So yeah. All right, then, oh, don't forget that all orders over 50 also get the free embossing folder. And if you've already ordered from me or have it, you can get an embellishment instead. So lots of specials the last week of June. Well, yeah, I guess it is about 8 days. So don't forget Thursday, free shipping. Love that. They don't do that very often. It's been only once a year, but sometimes they do it in December as well. All right, so that's the specials happening. Let's see, what's next? I think we're gonna pop right into my projects for today. So I'm gonna share with you something we made at my team meeting on Saturday. And it is a paper pumpkin box. This is a mini paper pumpkin box. And I think you get 10 in a package. Let me see. They are on page 137. The mini paper pumpkin boxes are basically 75 cents each. They're 10 for $7.50. So really great deal, and they're glossy. So that's why I was able to do this alcohol ink technique. So I'm going to share with you how to do that. And inside the box are note cards and envelopes. And these are our note cards, and they come pre-scored envelopes. We added color on these. I'm going to show you each one of these. And I'll probably stamp one at the end of the box here. So those are the 5 cards that were in the gift box. And as you can see, I used, let's see, the artistically inked stamp set and the artistic dies for the images that match here. I used that one, and then some of the greetings here. So where this came from is, let's see if I can grab it, the ephemera, Expressions in Ink ephemera pack. And this, and let me just show you, I was gonna save this for later, but I'm kind of on these are part of my, let's see, July card kit to go. So we're going to have the designer paper and the ephemera pack and some ribbons and some gems, all included in my kit to go in July. This is actually not orderable right now, neither one of these. They're supposed to be back end of June and mid-July. So I'm counting on Stampin' Up! To make sure that I can actually order these things so for my kits to go. And I'll use this stamp set. So if you haven't ordered this yet, that will be what I use for my kit to go. So if you like to do the kits to go, there's a reason to order that stamp set. So there we go. And where did I get this ombre from? These are the gift bags. These are the ombre gift bags, and they are also on the same page, 173. They're right here. Ombre gift bags, $6 for 20 bags. So what I did was I cut the bags up in half on the sides, and then in the back, let me show you, in the back on my little kit here, I cut up the side of the back of the envelope where it had the seam. So then I just added them to, let me grab my envelope here. So glued a nice straight edge to the envelope. Let me just do that. So nice in the middle, and then make sure you get the edges. And this is really simple to do and really classes up your envelopes. So just add that here on the edge. Let it dry a little bit, and then use the edge of your envelope to cut that off. And you get a really pretty matching envelope for your cards. Okay, so that's what I did there. And then what I cut, let me see. these up with, these ombre gift bags, was the Ornate Layer dies. So I used the second from the largest die to cut up the bags. And what was really neat, and this idea I got from somebody online. Oh, I'll look up the name and post it on my blog. But you can get actually two. Barely. It's really, really tight. So you have nothing to spare when you do two of these on the bag. So I thought it was so beautiful. These the cards, note cards I cased from somebody exactly. I really can't claim the beauty of these note cards. It was not my idea. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining, even if you're late. I'm glad you're here. All right, so we're gonna start with the box. Okay, so we are going to, because this is glossy, now this technique that I'm going to show you today, there's a couple really important things you have to remember. First of all, you have to use either glossy paper or vellum. It does not work with, glossy box. Even our glossy cardstock that we used to carry does not work with this technique, as well as the paper pumpkin box. We have, I think we have another box or two. Acetate would likely work. I'm not positive on that. But vellum works beautifully. And I'm going to do two cards with vellum. So you're going to see techniques on both the box and vellum today. All right, so that's one important thing. So here's our box. I'm going to do one side at a time. I've learned that little lesson that you want to do one side at a time. And the other important thing is to have 91% rubbing alcohol. 70%, 68, whatever does not work. 91 to 99 works best. You don't want to have a lesser percent. It just doesn't work. I have tried. It just doesn't work. Okay, so what we're going to do, and I'm going to switch up my colors. Here I used Pale Papaya and polished pink with a little bit, you can see some of these greens or darker tones of the light evergreen. So I'm going to switch up from Pale Papaya to Fresh Freesia. I'm going to try and copy the Paper Pumpkin box a little bit. So this last month Paper Pumpkin box had a alcohol ink background. So you're just going to scribble some large areas of ink. I'm going to go down and do my flap a little bit. I'm going to show you something I don't recommend doing very soon. Okay, here is the polished pink. And I want large sections. I don't want small little bits. You can do many different ways. You can do little bits or not little bits. So it all turns out differently, and what I found out that was really cool was you can wipe this off if you don't like it. I actually changed mine and redid this one 3 times. Okay, so what you do is you can use the rubbing alcohol and wash off. It leaves a little bit of film left, but it's almost pure white. And then go over it again and do the same thing, but you let it dry in between. But look what happens if you get too much rubbing alcohol, too much liquid. It kind of ruined the inside a little bit, and so I'm trying to keep it away from the edges this time so it doesn't seep into the back, because this is glossy, but this side is not. Okay, all right. Okay, now we've got our alcohol on there, and you need a brush or a pipette, a dropper, something, but I'm using a really thick brush that I got from my mom. She used to be a painter, and so you're just going to dab some drops on. You can touch if you want to. I would rather dab large amounts on and move it. And how you move this, you can use, if you do have, anybody have the old marker blower? It was like a marker spritzer, and you could move your marker, attach your marker to it as you went, and it kind of blew air and moved ink from your marker. Well, I'm going to use a straw. So this is my method. And the other thing you can use is when your babies had discharge in their nose, you put that in their nose and sucked it out. That works really well. So I'm just moving this around. Trying not to make mud. And I can see I need a little more alcohol. Maybe right here, right there, right there. I'm trying, like I said, and I'm touching it. It's okay to touch it. If you do, just wipe off your brush before you go back into the ink. So there we go. And it does not have to go outside the edge. It can be, I'll show you one that I did earlier. Now this is not done. There's another step after this. Okay, so that looks pretty neat. I like it. And the neat thing is you can go over this. So thanks, girls. I'm glad you like it. You can let this dry and go over it. And if you don't like something like this dark area right here, just dab it off. I have a little cotton square that I can use. Oh, of course, I get a kitty hair in there too. And I could add more. So when this is dry, I can add more and keep going. So, so yeah, and you can move it around and let things drip a little bit if you want to. So, another kitty hair. So I'm gonna let this sit, and I might just try and get some more of these drops in there. There we go. I like the difference there. Okay, let this sit while I make one of the cards. So just let that dry. It'll be dry in just minutes because it's rubbing alcohol. Okay, all right, so move this away and just kind of show you one of the cards. And we will do the polished pink. Give you a few tips on this, and I'm going to stamp the thank you. And which way you have the ombre does not really matter. It really doesn't. You can have it the dark on the top or the light on the top. Okay, there's a thanks from the set, and that's really all I need to do. And oops, I'm going to stamp one of the flowers as well on a scrap. So this is one of those distinctive stamp sets, and there's a die that matches that. Isn't that beautiful? Just lovely, lovely flower. And so then the leaves are already pre-stamped and cut, and I have one of these pre-cut so I wouldn't have to wait. So there's that. And all right, so then, and like I said, I cased this. I did not come up with this beautiful note card pattern at all. I can't take credit for it. I wish I would have written down her name though. Like I said, I'll give credit on my blog. So this I'm going to kind of pop up, and then the leaf I will glue down flat. Okay. So very simple. And then here's one of the note cards. And these are, I believe they're 3.5 by 5, something like that. And they're thick white cardstock. Our note cards are awesome. They're perfect, quick, I mean, because you get the card. Oh, I should have done a green one, but I didn't. Okay, so a tip on gluing this, I like to use our silicone mat. Put that down and just add some adhesive. You don't need much. And then I just add a little, I'm barely squeezing any of this glue out. Just a few little drops here and there. And the silicone mat just prevents my work surface from getting adhesive on it, so then I'm working in a sticky area. This is awesome. It also wipes right off. So if you get any adhesive on this, it just dries and you just rub it off. Okay, that's plenty. You don't have to do it everywhere. Then you just add this to your note card. Isn't that beautiful? Just love it. So when you are cutting your envelope flap off. We'll just pretend this is one of the pink ones. I should have grabbed the pink. And you move the paper and not your scissors. That's the secret to fussy cutting. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just special by doing this. Okay, there you go. And you could punch some little flowers. I could have probably die cut some leaves out of this too if I would have centered that a little bit better. But isn't that beautiful? Yeah, they're so pretty. And the ombre little detailed labels is just beautiful. Okay, so that's one of the cards. Let's see if our box, I may have to work on some other cards in the meantime. Oh, but I have a tip for you while I'm talking here, waiting for that to dry. It's just about dry. When I die cut these out, I actually used, and I forgot to tell my team members about this. Theirs had this on there, but I used the adhesive sheets. Did you know we have adhesive sheets in the catalog? They are under adhesives with the glues, and I glued a strip of this to a piece of white cardstock. So after you die cut, you just remove this. If you do not like fiddling with glue, I know many people do not like glue. They don't get it. They use too much. They get all sticky. Adhesive sheets might be the way to go when you do something detailed like this. So you put it on the back, and then when you die cut, let me grab my dies so I can kind of show you what you do. So you adhere it to one side of your cardstock. Then you put the dies on the right side of your cardstock, and the adhesive sheets are on the back, okay? They're on the back of your die. So then when you cut it out, let me just move this. On the back, you would just use your poking tool and kind of find an area that you can lift up, and now that is sticky. And you didn't have to glue everything, and it's sticky everywhere. Okay, so that's the adhesive sheets. All right. Okay. All right. It's not quite dry, but it's dry enough for me to do this next step. Okay. All right. So getting my newspaper back on here because I'm going to do a little mess. So it's almost dry. There's a little bit of wetness in the thicker areas. But what I do is dip my brush in here again, and then just tap it. And see those dots appear? Sorry for the glare. Hopefully you can see those dots, those little alcohol ink dots. And it all depends on how much was on your brush as far as how large those dots are. Can you see that? Okay, all right, so then we'll let that dry a little bit more before we move on to the next step. Okay, so that's where you get the ink spots. And the darker, now I didn't color, I colored with a lighter polished pink. If I would have used the darker polished pink, it would be, these white alcohol dots would show up much brighter. And like I said, I could have colored more first, but I didn't. Now here is another box that I did with Pale Papaya and the polished pink and a little bit of the evergreen. So a little bit brighter, a little bit more dots. So just very different. Every one turns out so much different, or so different. So, okay, all right. So I have to wait a little bit longer before I can, well, no, I know it. I can do this box. This is one that was done, and I want to show you how to do the veining. That's the first step here that we're going to do, is the veining. Okay, there's so many techniques in this box. It's really fun. So how many of you love techniques? So some of you, I know, don't like to fuss. No fuss, want things quick and simple. And I know other people like techniques and doing something fun and different. So I have our Shimmer Crystal Effects here. You could, I haven't tried this. This is a little thinner glue than this. Also, our fine tip glue would work for this, or heat and stick powder. But you have to have a way to apply the heat and stick powder with Versamark. I think a blender pen might work as well, but I'm using the glue, And so I'm going to kind of paint a vein, follow some lines here on this box. And I'm only going to do one because I don't want to take a lot of time with this technique, because I could add veins everywhere, as you can see. It's really pretty to add the gold veinings. Okay, then we have our gold flakes, and yes, they are messy and staticky. So what I usually do, you can use a tweezers, but then you end up fighting with the tweezers. So I'm gonna lay these sheets, these little pieces on here, on my glue, and kind of lightly press them in. And there's so much, don't worry about having excess. I mean, you could tear some off and add it to another spot, but oh, this stuff I would think it'll last forever, as much as you get in one container. Let's see, is that the end of my, might have been. Okay, so now I'm just going to use something that is nonstick. Actually, you know what would work well is probably my silicone mat to press on there, because I don't want it, and yes, it is going to stick on there, but it'll rub right off. Something that doesn't stick, because that glue is very wet. So now I'm going to wait until that glue dries before I brush off the excess, and we'll have a vein. All right. Okay, so really quickly, I'm going to go over a couple other cards that I made using vellum. Okay, the first one is this one. So I know some of you likely have watched some videos using this technique. So I'm going to just show you my way. All right, so the measurements for this card are right here. So if you want, this is just a typical rectangle card front. Oh, look what I found inside my card. More of that. Those gold flakes, they are quite, yeah, quite something. All right, so I have my white and my vellum, and you do need both. You can't just use vellum. See how dull that is compared to adding white underneath it. So the white makes your colors pop. So you can add a larger layer, a smaller layer, depends on if you want it to be exactly the same or not. Okay, so I am going to, I know what I'll do. I will put this piece of paper from my free shipping label under my vellum. Yeah, so we can see. Okay, so we are going to color, and this time for this card I'm going to use Granny Apple Green and Highland Heather, and it's a dark of each, dark Highland Heather and dark Granny Apple. I'm using the wide tip, so just going to color like I said, in big splotches again. I like larger amounts of one color and probably smaller of the other, but you know, you can do anything. You could do stripes, you could do just anything. And I don't want to go off the paper because then it starts curling more. So we'll get that rubbing. And you don't have to have it in this spray bottle. It's just the only thing that CVS had when I went there. They were out, the other shelves were out. So it's just what they had. Okay, dip this in, and you can dab, you can touch. Whoa, I just spilled it. I knew I would do that. Okay, I do have a tissue here that I can wipe this up. Okay, all right. Dab or touch, totally up to you. And if you do one color at a time, you don't have to worry about cleaning your brush off. I should have put it in another smaller container, but I didn't. Okay, clean brush. Now I'll go into the greens. Oh, I think I might have too much. We'll see. We'll see. All right, get my trusty straw out, and already it's starting to look beautiful. So one thing you can do to keep it from curling is to use blocks, and that's why I don't use, going to go to the edge, so I can put my blocks on there. Well, let's go into the edge. Where is another one of my little wipes? Here we go. Okay. All right. So you can just dab up a little bit of that, and I actually like that. The inside right there is a little bit dry, but I'm okay with that. I think that'll be pretty. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. And when you let it dry, you will want to put something heavy on it. So I have a nice big block that I can put on top of it, but I do want to let it dry a little bit more before I do that, but so it doesn't curl. And I had one curl really badly, and all I did was kind of just bend it like this. But when you let it dry, just put something on it so it doesn't curl. All right, we're gonna do the other card so it can dry while so I can work on that one. Okay, that one, my vellum right here. And I apologize if I haven't answered a question. I will get back to you, I promise. This one is, let's see, Night of Navy and Granny Apple Green. So really cool, huh? Okay, so we will do, I don't know how much of each I'm going to do. This is the light navy. And then some Granny Apple. And this technique has to be alcohol markers. A regular marker will not work. You have to have the alcohol markers for this technique, because alcohol will make it work, right? Oh, I almost spilled it again. I'm putting on quite a bit here. And the only problem with that is that I'm going to actually touch some of these edges so the dark blue blends. So then I would just wipe that off before I would go into another color. Make sure it's clean. Okay, get that trusty straw out. And it's already doing its thing. Ooh. I think that's beautiful, just like that. If I could turn it around, and I might try and do that. I want to blow this the other way. Okay, all right, so I'm going to set that aside, let it dry over here with a couple blocks on the corners so it doesn't curl. And you can see this one is almost dry already. Okay, alcohol works so fast. Okay, let's clean up my mess a little bit here. Okay, all right. So now to put this on the white cardstock, now I have to find my pieces. So hold on a minute, I have a little bit of seepage over here. I probably put too much alcohol on these, but I kind of wanted the speed of it blending quickly. Okay, now to glue this on, you're going to say, well, how? Oh, that's the wrong one. How do you glue them on so you don't see? Because I know vellum is an issue. There's the one that matches. Okay, this is for the Highland Heather card. So we're working on this card. I have so many parts and pieces here going on. Just want to find the rest of my... Anybody see my green pieces? Oh, I see them now. Okay, I have some parts and pieces I'm going to play with. But how do you put this on so your vellum doesn't show? Well, I'll admit to you that on the side here, one video I watched, she used tear and tape. And so tear and tape, I see a little bit of that line. It doesn't show up, but I think it was because when I pressed it, it picked up some ink on my fingers. Otherwise, I think it would be absolutely clear. But I must have, of course, I was stamping or maybe gardening, who knows, but I think it picked up some ink, or some dirt from my fingers. But what I would do now, if you're stamping on this, if you want to stamp something, you would stamp on the opposite side. Okay, and of course, vellum doesn't dry very quickly, so I would likely use StazOn or heat emboss, because otherwise it takes a long time for regular water-based ink to dry. But I'm not going to stamp on there, but I am going to use my liquid glue. And what I do is just add, and it's so little. I put a little bit on the darker areas and then I spread it around. So, and then a little bit on the edges. And no, there's nothing here at all, but I'm kind of spreading just tiny droplets on here. And of course it hides better if there is color. But you'll see, and you can see on here, I added adhesive on all well, these two edges did not have tear and tape on there, and you can't see a thing. So I'm just spreading. I'm using the tip of the glue container here to spread that. And I should have had my silicone mat here because I can see I got a little outside the line. And then just adhere this. And you will see it just disappears. There is no sign that I used glue on there. Can you see any? It just disappears. But like I said, there were no droplets. I put tiny little lines and then I just spread them around. So that's one way to prevent glue from showing up. Let's see, we are going to add a little strip. Now this is just a little 1/2-inch strip. I like to add the second color, the secondary color that I use to my card in some way. I don't know, it's a way to bring the colors all together. Okay. There's the other glue, and I don't know if I think this side I'll do. Okay, and then I did heat emboss that, but I did not, and you know what? I forgot to cut out another die for this, so I won't be able to finish this until later. But this is what I would do, is just add that right to my, I was prepping these cards and I totally forgot to cut these out. Something else. Okay, so just add that. It's almost just as pretty alone. Let's see, where's my box? So this is what it would look like if I finished it. I just used part of this. I think I cut it off right there and just added that like that. So that's that card. And the same thing will happen with the navy one. And that is almost dry. Not quite. Has a little, and I left my block on there so I can see a little bit of block lines, but that's where I'll put my leaves. So there's that one. Let's see where the original card is. Right there. So it's a little, oh, I didn't do the droplets. That's what I didn't do. Okay, and I can't do it to this one anymore because it's on my, although I probably could because alcohol dries clear. But I will do it to this one. And you'll see how those droplets spread the ink. Okay, so my brush and my alcohol, tap a little off. There we go. Now let's put it on something white so you can see that. See how that droplet just makes it come to life? You're welcome. I'm glad you're liking the technique. It is really fun. And like this one went to the edge a little bit more. I probably used a little bit too much alcohol. I kind of like it when it's not to the edge, where you see the ending of the color and the ink. So anyway, that's the two cards that I made today. Now on the pearls, I was going to mention to you, and I'll show you that right now before we get back to the box. These are our silver and gold pearls, and what I did with those is colored them with my blends markers because you can see they're green. I don't know if they show up very well, but when you're coloring with your blends markers, be very gentle on your tip. It can dull your tip if you do it too much. I tend to use the soft tip. I probably should use the hard tip, and I likely wouldn't have as much trouble with my tip. There's a tip for you. So you can let it dry and go over it a couple times, and they do get darker, just so you know. And these are silver. You could do the white pearls. The reason I chose silver is there's so many of the same size, and they tend to color very well, almost as good as white. So you can see the difference, hopefully, in the color there. Okay. All right, so those are the cards. So vellum or glossy paper work for this technique. All right, let's get back to the box. And there is my, I'm gonna get my silicone mat out since I already have some on here. And I have a brush, and you're just going to brush. I can see that my line of glue was very thick because I have a large vein, but it works. So there's the veining on that one. So you just need to let your glue dry. Let me move this away. And there's better veining, I guess you'd say. So on here, you would then just peel off your stickum or use glue. Put that on there. I'm going to add a few more veins. And I'm going to close this so you can see it a little bit better. And then we added a tag, and that tag, let me see where my packet is. I have so much stuff here. Okay, we made a tag for this, and the tag had, and there we go. There we go. So the tag, I heat embossed it, and this is from the succulent dies with just the 4U sponged around the edge and tied a bow. So once I decide how much, let me see where my box is. I think it's going to be, I'm going to try purple this time, the Fresh Freesia. We'll see which one I like after I finish the other side of the box. And the reason being that the adhesive sheets on vellum, yes, actually they would work on vellum. That is a very good idea. Smart, yes. So you could use them on the entire vellum. That's a good idea, Nancy. The reason I do just half at a time here is because I found that if I markered all of it and then added ink or alcohol, some of the marker lines stayed and they were harder to move with the alcohol. So I decided to do smaller amounts at a time so I don't have that issue that they almost dried permanent before the alcohol could get in there and saturate and spread the color. So that's the reason when I only did half, not just for demonstration's sake. Okay, let's see. I think that might be, oops, my blocks are falling down. That might be the projects are done, but I do want to share one other kit that's going to be for July. So the first kit for July that everybody will get who's subscribed, like Nancy, who gets them every month, will include the Expressions in ink paper. The add-on kit, I usually do 2, will include the hand-penned Memories and More cards, and they are beautiful. The cards themselves come, let's see if I have one. Yeah, they come like this. So one side, the front is Pool Party polka dot, and the back is white, inside is white, and then the envelopes that come with it are Pale Papaya with mint and Pool Party. So they're just gorgeous, and there is no stamping required in this one. And I think you're going to get 20 cards. I've got to work it out yet, but I'm pretty sure you're going to get 20 cards. It's either 10 or 20, so I have to work out how much I can provide for usually $20 in product. So yeah, this is going to be, and I'm also going to work on possibly having a box template for these. So I haven't done this yet. I'm working on it, but it will happen. So that, I think, is it for today. And do not forget about the free shipping. Oh, you know what I didn't show you? I apologize. Before I go, I wanted to give you, I always promise you, I give you the measurements, right? So here are the measurements for these 2 cards. So you can take a screenshot if you want to. I mean, they're pretty standard. This is my standard 3.5 by 4 3/4 for the vellum and white. But yeah, don't forget about the free shipping and my special offers for the rest of June. You get free tutorial, free card kits with $35 and over, $50 and up, free shipping on Thursday only. Don't miss it. It's going to be an awesome day to get the free shipping and that extra 10% off. Yes, you can order the PDF for each of the kits. You sure can. They are on my Flowerbug shop, Ruby. It's flowerbugshop.com. Flowerbug, shop.com. And that's where all of my PDFs are. The expressions in ink are not ready yet, and nor is this one. So July's are not ready yet, but June, the hand penned, and the Celebrate Easy. No, let's see, which one was the other one? Oh, gosh, I just cut out for it and prepped for it, and they're almost here to send out. Now I'm drawing a blank. Oh, it was the berries cards. Yep, they are all on there. The PDFs are there. In fact, I still have 2 left of each. I have 2 kits left of the hand penned and 2 of the berries. So you can go to the Flowerbug shop and get them while they last. All right, thanks so much. I will see you all next week, and I believe it's Monday night is my live, the Stamp With Me. So I'll share something on Saturday. Yeah. Okay, thanks so much, girls. Have a great week. I appreciate you. Okay, bye-bye.